hasn't got to see that yet. And now against Yagao, he needs to set up here with this composition.
It's going to be interesting because the other question is, do they even have to engage when you're playing against Virel? There's not really that many options on the other side. And I think Weibo has, in a lot of cases, been very good with their counter-engage. And I think both Melio as well as this Nico really do excel in the counter-engage, the amount of setup that they're going to have. If you're piling in with the Vi, all of a sudden the peel, the shields, the heals come through from Crisp, from Xiaohu. That can create the space that Light needs to take over a fight.
I mean, you bring an equalizer down on top of a botched engage, even Belveth, if you try to engage on this carry type of jungler and you don't 100-0 her, the ability to resist damage and weather that storm in time for the team to come in and help you is there. I'm excited here for this first game. I can't wait to see where we're going to go. We were all talking a lot about the junglers specifically and the way that they've been playing. The desk even highlighted it. Kobe was mentioning how Weiwei just loved going bottom in that entire quarterfinal, just over and over and over again. Shun, more of a yo-yo across the rift. He'll go top, he'll go bot, he'll go top, he'll go bot. But when you're up against Weiwei, who's got that pressure, I'm curious if Shun is just going to gravitate even more so to the bottom half of the rift too.
Yeah, lolesports stats actually tweeted out some kill maps where you can see where all their kills are pre-14. For Weibo, it's basically only in bot lane. Like, everything is bot lane. They are very clearly playing heavily towards this, and with the Enchanter, they'll be able to.
All right, as we're waiting on the minions to spawn, a reminder, you saw it pop up on the screen a moment ago. You can connect your League of Legends account with Prime Gaming to grab the exclusive Braum W emote that the players have been spamming on each other the whole time here. As the ward is going to spot out Weibo, doing a late invade here towards those Raptors.
But look at Bin is coming. They have the extra man defending. BLG have 4 here, and we don't see the extra people for Weibo just yet.
Level 1 could get spicy and get spicy quick. The Shy's going to be found there with the ward in the brush. Now Weiwei and Xiaohu need to try to get out of here. Flame Spitter from the Shy, just buying a little bit of extra time for his teammates to continue the long way home. But the flash Q3 and the Shy's in trouble. He drops down the Ignite, but what's it going to do? On continues the chase as the Shy flashes out. He may be able to survive here. On going to continue after him. The Shy, he doesn't die, but his lane's in a real bad spot.
I mean, this is an absolute disaster. You're playing zero sums, no TP Rumble, starting top against a full HP Bin, and Xiaohu got completely zoned away. Look where he is on the minimap right now. This is an unmitigated disaster. He hasn't even gotten 1 minion of experience yet, and I think that Yagao actually stacked the wave to pull towards him, so Weibo off to about the worst start possible.
And a lot of when we look at these two teams facing off in summer was, okay, can we try and get an advantage on BLG side for Bin against the Shy? Then we can try and just leave them to their own devices as we look towards the rest of the map. And Bin has certainly got a bit of an advantage in this one.
I mean, he's going to have to base. And remember, this is no TP. He's going to be down likely 2 levels right off the rip from this play. This is absolutely horrible for them. And I'm just surprised that Weibo didn't pull up Crisp because it's so obvious that you're going to be going for this type of invade. Anytime you're playing with Belveth, your first camp is their Raptors. It's not your Raptors. On moved up, Crisp didn't. That was the difference.
Especially when we said, hey, look, your bot lane, actually, he's going to be in a bit of a better spot than we were talking about in draft, but you still want to try and get push on the map to facilitate this Belvet to keep invading, keep getting in the space of this vibe. But when the Shy is completely out of top side and you don't really have as much control as you'd like over mid lane as well, it's going to make it very tough for this Belvet to play out the map as she wants.
At least for the Shy, there was a cannon minion there, so I mean, I think it's going to not potentially be as bad as it might have been, but 17-4, it's such a big lead here. He'll be able to mop up some of these underneath the turret, but that level 1, such a disaster for Weibo. They're going to have to claw their way back from the disadvantages they had there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it all shakes out as far as the total experiences advantage, but when he walked back to lane, he was still 1 when Bin hit 3, right? So yeah, you do see that temporary massive XP disadvantage. On the other side, there was a cost, of course, for Elk because Elk did get zoned off.
Weiwei getting caught out now as he tries to invade the enemy jungle. The Belveth not wanting to fall behind. Ends up losing a little bit of HP. Luckily, does not have to spin the flash. Can go back down into the bot side river and claim the Scuttle Crab thanks to the lane push that his bottom lane has acquired.
Yeah, exactly. So Weibo's bot lane, really a lot of pressure on them now. You know, given how badly everything went on that top side, the only advantage they had was that Crisp and Light were in lane and could zone Elk, right? So they did create a CS advantage there. Elk picked up quite a bit as that wave did crash, but Light and Crisp have got to pound this bot lane 2v2 now because the soul lanes are just in a tough spot.
Shun clearing out his blue, hanging around on this bottom side of the map, but not going through anything here just yet. You can see Weiwei invading again. You talked about the importance of Belveth stealing away enemy Raptors, wanting to do it at level 1. He's going to come back around, find the second spawn of them, and Weiwei should now also be able to get this Scuttle Crab on the top half of the map too. So double Scuttle early on is going to feel pretty good. As Bin goes in pretty aggressively here, finds a nice trade on the shot.
Yeah, I think a large portion of this is going to be seeing, hey, can Weiwei try and keep up this pressure? But Shun now has an advantage where he can move into the bot side, hasn't been spotted. There is a ward here, but it might be a little bit too late as On has flash.
Well, Yeah, looks like Shun's just going to step out in the vision there real quick, so Weibo should know what's going on.
I really want to see if Bin can actually hold that wave off the turret, though, because he TP'd back and the Shy had no buy.
Immediate flash engage coming out from On as Crisp is forced to flash away. He's nearly killed, but he keeps himself alive just a little bit longer. It's first blood. Back over to the rel as BLG are on the board.
Nicely done. Beautiful flash engage there from On. Shun with a follow-up, but they can't quite turn it around. Chris couldn't get away. But again, on that top side, I'm really interested to see what the Shy is going to do from this position because he had no buy. Bin gets the buy, comes back, prevents the crash, and now he's going to try to lock him into this wave state where he doesn't want the Shy to ever be able to crash the wave and then actually look for that base. So Bin is trying to hold this off the turret as much as he can. He's going to try to stall out these range minions and say, you don't get the base, you don't get the buy. That is the advantage that I've gained off of this level 1.
Yeah, I think he needs to pull Weiwei up here if he wants to try and do something, but Weiwei needs to get back to this bot side to try and protect his camps from Shun, but we're going to see here, I think they thought that Shun had gone away after they saw him initially poke his head out on that ward, and then Crisp not quite able to get back in behind the tower in time, get enough healing off as well, and you can see how much damage has gone onto the BLG side, but they just can't respond.
Exactly. They tried to throw everything in there. The summoner heal, the cozy campfire, the warm hugs, everything in Melio's kit, but just not enough still. The damage was there from BLG. They're first on the board. However, we look at how close the gold is. The first blood with an assist is worth 600 gold. There's not even that much difference here between the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And there, the Shy hits 6, uses the equalizer immediately to crash that wave. So he's not going to get stuck in this long extended laning phase that Bin wanted him in with no items. Does go back to base, gets the tier 2 boots. You can see a number of them have. So Weibo, their solo laners honestly doing a really good job of recovering from what was a difficult situation at level 1.
Yeah, and when I'm looking at Weibo, one of the things I immediately notice here on the scoreboard, the massive difference in terms of the amount of camps farmed in the jungle. Weiwei is up significantly there on this Bel'Veth, so trying to keep pushing the tempo on this carry-style jungler as he hangs out down here in the bot lane now, but the ward placed over the wall is going to spot him out.
I think he's done a relatively good job, though, of getting control now, using the push that you have on bot side and mid to start to teeter over towards, I was going to say Dragon, but Shun is here to try and protect it. I think it's just getting Vision down before they started up. But you can see, at the moment, BLG trying to respond.
Now, On finds a stun there on Light, but immediately has to disengage. As you can see, control over that river still belongs to Weiwei. He's got his smite. He'll secure that as Shun wanted to come up, potentially fight for it. But Weiwei, again, maintains control over these scuttle crabs throughout the entire early game so far.
I think Shun has been doing a good job of tracking where Weiwei wants to go, though, and he's kind of keeping him in check here, making sure they can't use the advantage you had off both waves. And because Weibo hesitate, they don't actually get to take the Dragon immediately, so BLG are then in position to respond. And now it's going to become a case of, all right, I'm going to steal these Raptors, try and set up Vision on this top side, and more than likely play for that Rift Herald that's in 30 seconds, maybe even catch out Shun as he moves in here.
Weiwei level 6 versus Shun only level 5. It'd be an easy knock up here, but I would expect for Weiwei, Shun is not going to win this 1v1. So much damage coming out from Weiwei, not enough to force a kill. The flash wouldn't have been available anyway, but Shun is now forced back out of that quadrant of the map.
And that's huge because there's not anything on this bottom side. Shun hasn't hit level 6 yet, and he really wants to have that before the Rift Herald spawns, but now you're in a position as Weiwei where you get to clear out Raptors, immediately fall back over towards this Rift Herald with the push that you have on this top side. Thanks to Shy doing a good job, despite the early deficit of now bringing it back in that top lane match.
And now it finally means he's able to take away multiple camps from Shun. You know, he hadn't been able to get them. He had been farming heavily on his side of the map, but now he's going to push him out, get the Raptors. He's going to take the red. He's going to get the Krugs. It's going to be a full topside clear of the enemy jungle, and that could potentially mean a Herald after. That could potentially mean a dive top after. I don't think that Weibo can really contest this because Weiwei is still moving up, so he's just going to trade for that Herald kind of as expected on the top side, and that is so much more valuable when you are playing on this Bel'Veth. You get the little Voidling spawns that are coming out. That really does help the push. Plus you get that additional empowerment from taking that Void Eye.
But even just look at the little purple bars that are underneath Weiwei and Shun's portraits. That's your levels, and you can see how far ahead Weiwei is. Plus, he's going to be able to go in onto this top side, take Raptors, zone Bin off of this wave as well as it's about to crash from the Shy, and keep full control over this top side continuously. This is becoming a massive issue now for BLG, and honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if Weiwei just gives a ton of those resources to the Shy with the Rift Herald to just take down first tower and get this rumble rolling.
The Shy doing a great job bouncing back here. This is a huge wave crashing into the turret. That Weiwei's presence is now going to completely deny that from Bin. The Aatrox, we were talking about how great that lane state was early on, but now it's rubber banded entirely back the other way.
I mean, it's so rough, and credit to the Shy. He actually slow stacked that wave while his jungler is taking Herald. Really well played. Chris defends the red buff on that bot side, and he doesn't even have to commit the Herald for the play. He just walks up, Bin knows he's going to die with the Ignite and the Equalizer available if he tries to stay under that tower, so they get a couple plates. They deny, I want to say, 3+ waves to Bin as well, and he just uses that tempo recall, gets back down to pick up the red buff that was defended again by Crisp. So this is really well played by Weibo across the map. I'm super impressed.
And this looks like the Weibo from earlier in the year, not the one that's going to, hey, we're going to take Poppy and dive you over and over again level 3. It's, hey, we're going to try and get some sort of control here over in the mid lane. We're going to start playing up towards the Shy in that top side as well, like making sure that we're in a position where we can actually play towards the Shy on carries and use the pressure that Xiaohu had been so famous for coming across from RNG.
And it's so interesting, right? Because when they came into Worlds, everyone's like, yeah, you're going to play to the Shy. That's how they got to Worlds. And it became this total pivot towards bot side, where that's all Weiwei was doing, these poppy dives towards bot side, all these moves down there constantly. The emphasis on the support counter pick as well for Crisp and these range supports that have been so powerful for them. But clearly, trying to be flexible, trying to catch BLG a bit off guard, and thus far, it absolutely is working. But of course, BLG not too far behind whatsoever. It is just a 600 gold lead at this point.
Right.
And they are the ones with the engage on their side. So if you do misstep, if you do make that mistake, BLG are more equipped to punish it, whereas Weibo really need to push the pace, because when you don't have engage, I feel you heavily have to dominate the objective game and force your opponents to come to you, because that is the way that you choose your fights, is when you're stacking those dragons, when you're threatening those barons, and they have to engage into you.
And that's where I do get a little bit worried, because Yagao has a lot of control in his back pocket for that, but Weiwei hovering, Shun is available.
Yeah, Shun recalling nearby, but Weiwei's gonna dash forward. As you can see, Shun now coming in to reinforce Bin, but he's burning up the equalizer over the top, and the Shy picks up the kill.
Nicely done by Weibo. Bin waited way too long. He wanted to try to bait this play out. I think he overestimated how much damage he could take, and that late flash really means he gets punished. Now the entire tower is likely to fall. On's trying to come here to reinforce.
Man, Aatrox can be deceptively tanky, but a drain tank doesn't work when you cut his healing. The Ignite just absolutely wrecks him, and now that's another massive amount of minions that are just crashing into the turret.
Also the fact, like, he's going for this Hex Trigger early, he wants to try and get a ton of that early magic resist, so he's a ways away off of actually having a lot of that AD damage that he wants in his kit to try and sustain off. Even going towards things like Core Drinker are going to take a little while.
Okay, hold on. Maybe a little bit of a scrap here in mid. Crisp comes up to reinforce, make sure Xiaohu's okay. On stepping away there from the Ultra Mega Fire Kick, so nothing's coming of it.
And one of the dangerous things about itemizing in towards something like a Hex Drinker, when you're against a lane bully like Rumble, you want to rush towards it, but there's an AD carry, you know, jungler style here.
Weiwei gonna be engaged on here as Shun goes in. The Vi ulti leads the charge, but now in the back line, they're still keeping him alive. Weiwei getting away. He makes his way to the blast cone, and Weiwei survives the counterattack. Where's it at from Weibo? They're not gonna get anything back for it, but the fact that there's no kills for BLG was huge. Now Xiaohu's coming in looking to lock down Yagao. He tries to get away. Skin of the week ain't gonna work. The Shy flashes over, and he burns them all up. A double kill back to the top laner from Weibo. These guys came to fight.
Scatter the Weak isn't going to work on the Shy. The Giga Chat top laner flashes past it and roasts him.
The Shy honestly popping off and saving that play. Xiaohu whiffs on the ult, whiffs on the Tango bars, and the Shy says, who needs CC when I can just roast them alive?
Credit to Crisp as well, flashing to get in range for the heal, for the Breath of Life, for the shield, everything coming through, and everything needed to barely keep Weiwei alive.
Yeah.
That is a big fight and a big turnaround here from Weibo.
Yeah, I mean, really good job here. You can see Xiaohu spots out that they're all there. Weiwei gets caught, but just being able to at least zone, even for Xiaohu there, is big. Because as you say, Crisp gets timed into flashing, get the shield, get the heal. The blast cone barely interrupts Shun on the back end of that as well. And here, Xiaohu tries to get the flash in, just barely misses, but the Shy's in the perfect position.
Yeah, just watch the Shy right here, is able to flash in over top of the scatter. Beautifully timed there. Nicely done by the Shy. Picks up the double kill. And you can see he's feeling good about that one.
Oh, it's going again! It's going again!
We're not done! Bin falls in the 1v1. The Shy, despite a disastrous level 1. Isaac, you said it at the start of this game. It's as bad as it could have been without giving up a kill. And the Shy is now 4-0-0. It is a massive lead for Weibo right now, 14 minutes into the game, and they're going to start up the second Drake of the game.
What did you think was going to happen if he gave the Shy Rumble? Like, even set behind early from the level 1, he's popping off again. And I mean, this is reminiscent of the Shy right the way back in 2018. dominate lane, and then go on to win the whole bloody tournament.
It's so interesting because I feel like with the Nico coming through early, BLG thought that they weren't going to go for the Rumble. I think they didn't think they would go towards the double AP solo lanes. Maybe thought that they had limited them enough on the AD jungle picks that they wouldn't be able to have success. But Weiwei locking in the Bel'Veth here has really enabled it very, very effectively. He's farming incredibly well. He's put on pressure. He's taken objectives. And check it out in the lane economy snapshot here, powered by MasterCard. 2,400 gold lead in the top lane. That is ridiculous.
And it's literally the reverse staircase of what we usually see for Weibo, where it's like, it's actually going to be more the Shy who's trying to sustain in that top side. But now that he's got given the resources, he's in a terrifying spot. And I mean, look, it's 103 gold in that bot lane, but Light is going to scale so well with this Melio as well. Like, BLG need to find a way to slow this down, or they are just going to get absolutely overrun in these fights.
I mean, it's already a 3,500 gold advantage for the side of Weibo. The Drakes are tied. Weiwei's working on the second Rift Herald of the game here. As soon as it spawns, Weibo's going to be taking that as the Shy just picks up another one. This man is on a mission today.
Yeah, on to off real quick. The Shy finds him. And it's just nice positioning there, right? You can see, hey, look, we are trading that Rift Herald on top side. Let's get the vision. It's your standard play for the support, but not having the jungle and then not having a top laner.
Pop Blossom lands. They tie him up in the Tangle Barbs, and Weiwei's ready to bring him down. Alley-oop. The kill goes over to Light, and now the push comes through. These guys are ready to absolutely wreck this top side. Beautiful plays coming out from Weibo.
This game is getting out of control. Weibo are stomping them as BLG were trying to push for that tier 1 bot, but they get a kill around mid. They move top. They get a kill up there. They push in. They don't even have to use the Herald yet. They're going to be able to still have that for later, try to take a tier 1 bot or even push for a tier 2. Weibo are in an incredible position. And what a shocking start to this game is now the Shy's 3,000 gold ahead. He's got Equalizer. I don't know if you even want it.
Yeah, this is tough, man. I don't even think you win these 2v1s. He's going to go ahead, drop the Equalizer to zone Yagao away, turns on the Flame Spitter, his Shun goes in for the ulti. They try to wombo combo him down, and the shutdown goes over to Yagao. But what about the counterpunch? The TP comes in from Xiaohu, but they disengage in time. Shun and Yagao picking up a critical shutdown there onto the Shy, but man, he still put so much damage down while they did it. They have to find moments like that. It's the only way they can get him.
Big moment though, because as you say, they quickly got in, dispatched him, and you burnt the TP from Xiaohu, so you kind of disrupt all this tempo advantage that Weibo started to build up, because you can see push in top, control over mid. It was starting to become a bit of a nightmare for BLG, so they're starting to slow that onslaught a little bit.
And that's 850 gold in the pocket of Yagao. That was a huge shutdown, but my real concern for BLG is what has Bin going to get done this game? I mean, look at his itemization. He's got a Hex Drinker, and he's going into lethality. There is a lot of physical damage on the other side. You have nothing, no HP, no armor, no resistances. Light and Weiwei are going to kill you in a second.
And I feel like they've been completely caught off guard by Weibo's stuff, but also the way Weibo are bringing out picks like the Bel'Veth. I mean, last time we got to see Bin bring out the Rumble. Now it's Weiwei bringing out the Bel'Veth. These teams are leveling up as playoffs goes on, and BLG were not prepared this time.
Going back to what we were talking about in the draft, Azale, you mentioned how, yeah, they banned the Jax away from Bin because he had this monster performance on it. So many of Weibo's, or not Weibo's, excuse me, BLG's wins feel like they come out of big performances from Bin, but he's just locked out of the game this time as the Equalizer lands on Yagao. Weiwei's not going to close the gap in time to make anything else happen, but they force their opponents back. It's Weibo using the Herald here in the bottom lane to force down that tier 1 turret. On gets thrown up in the air, the Pop Blossom's ready to make sure it gets done, and Xiaohu picks up his first kill of the game. 7-2 here, 18.5 minutes in.
You play with fire, you're going to get burned, and On learns it once again as they get that charge off, and Weibo will back it out. But it is Shun on that top side, the split-pushing Vi taking down a top tower.
Yeah.
Man is on a mission to get some gold back, but this is looking terrible for BLG.
Here, look, if your top laner doesn't have a Divine Sunder, you might as well bring it yourself up to that top lane. So at least getting the Sheen procs on the tower gets something, but you've already got push. You get to fall back. Dragon in 30 seconds.
Can't do anything.
Yeah. Shun thought he was going to wrap around, maybe look for some sort of a pincer attack, but there's nothing to be found. The Shy's left alone here in the bottom lane. He will pick up the tier 2 turret down there. 5-2 in the turret count is a big reason why this is a 5,000 gold lead here now. It's so hard for BLG to try to fight back from any sort of a fair fight.
And now this really is just so problematic for them. Great, they have some engage, they have the ability to look for picks, but Weibo are so ridiculously strong at this point. They're going to show up to every single objective, and they're going to dare you to fight them. They're going to continue stacking towards this as the Horizon Focus is even done for the Shy. So he's going full on damage in towards the Void Staff as that third item. He is going to be destroying people.
Myself and Azael got a chance to meet Teddy backstage, who's the Chinese caster, before we came in, and he was talking about Weibo, and they said, look, we have things that we haven't had to show yet. We got through without having to face an Eastern team. We have the opportunity to play our style and bring out some of these new picks, and you're seeing how terrifying they are and why this team was considered a super team when they were formed in the LPL.
So many conversations that I saw leading up to the semifinals here this week were asking about, oh, has Weibo's run been fraudulent? Do these guys really deserve semifinals? You mentioned only playing the Western teams. Yeah, they played Mad, they played G2, they played Fnatic, they played Energy, then they played Energy again. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, this is where they get exposed. They're not looking too exposed right now.
No, not at all. I mean, they did play an Eastern team. They just lost, right? But here, this would be their first win against an Eastern team at the tournament. Really would be a statement game to come into the semifinals and just blow out BLG in game number 1. No one can really question if you deserve to be here, if you are on the same level as these style of teams when you bring out this kind of a performance.
I think especially when a lot of the reasons that we were kind of looking at over the course of this weekend was, hey, you want to go into red side, you want to get that counter pick support, but the way this draft has been set up, Weibo have been totally fine with getting control over that bot side, banning out the early Renata, and then making things uncomfortable then for BLG bot side. They have full control on top side thanks to the Rumble pick and stuff, so you really do have to go back to the drawing board here for BLG and say, hey, how do we try and disrupt what Weibo have got going on here?
It's tough from a game state like this when your opponents have the champions that they do with these. Already, both of those Rift Heralds having gone over to Weibo have been huge in accumulating this lead. 21 minutes on the clock means Baron is now on the table. If you get another big couple of picks, if you get another big win in one of these team fights, that could hyper-accelerate the state of the game, again, even more so than normal because of the presence of Belvac.
I think you're kind of just hoping now that Yagao and Elk can make some sort of a miracle happen. I mean, both those carries do have 2 items, so they're not so far behind. You know, Light kind of quietly farming away. He's on 2 items as well, of course. You don't really have anyone with an advantage, but you've got to hope that something goes bad here, and Weibo starting up a Baron potentially. This could be an angle for BLG. We'll see if Weibo are going to stick on it.
All right, here we go, Weibo.
Yeah.
Nope, no we don't. All right, backing away, looking for the opportunity for the engage instead. Root hits the Xayah, Elk getting away for now, escapes the Q from the Aphelios from long range, but now Weiwei's gonna look for Bin. If they can catch the Aatrox, it could be big, but Bin can slip away from that one.
Yeah, and Elk had to use his Ghost and lost half his health there as well, so he did use both charges of the refillable potion. They could just go right back towards the Baron here potentially, knowing that Elk is now low. It's very difficult for him to approach if he gets chunked out like that again. It's just gonna be straight back to base, and I think once they clear out the vision, they're just going to start it. They're not going to give Elk the time to heal up.
All right, BLG are going to have to try to stand and stop this. Ulti flies out from Aphelios, but the Moonlight Vigil will not connect on anybody, so Weibo's just going to walk this one back away. They're not so far ahead, they can just hard force Baron, so they don't want to throw the game. Shun now in danger, knocked up into the air, Equalizer over the top. Shun is down, and Weiwei's the one to put him there. Now can they find any more? No, but with the enemy jungler out, with both enemy bot lane players critically injured, the Baron should be the call once again.
And that's exactly how Weibo want to try and play this. Draw BLG, try and tease them a little so they want to get into the pit, try and get into River, and as you get BLG coming through, they pull off, they immediately attack the people from BLG who are overextended, and that gains Baron now for Weibo.
I mean, this is just beautifully played by Weibo. They don't have engaged, you start the objectives, you draw them in, you find the pick here with the knockup. Look at the Equalizer, perfectly placed across all 3 members, cuts off any possible escape there from Shun. And with the jungler down, Elkanon really chunked out. The Shy knows it, man. He is just having a game, and when this guy is on, no one can beat him.
I mean, every time we're seeing him pop up on the screen, he just looks calm, cool, collected. The state of the game has been going Weibo's way ever since they dug their way back out of that hole at level 1. 8-2 now. 2-1 Drake lead, up 6,000 gold. They got Baron for the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds. The next Drake is going to spawn in under a minute, so they'll have total control over the Rift to move towards Soul Point.
Yeah, I think this is nigh on impossible now for BLG because the amount of control you can get over mid-wave, pushing that in, especially with Infernum picked up for Light, you start to set up your vision on this bottom side. You then have to try and come through these chokes to try and contest that, and that's a fairly sizable minion wave that Weiwei has on this bottom side to put that pressure to also allow them to set up that vision as they work their way through here.
And you can see that Xiaohu was pushing out top wave, but now he's going to move over towards mid because they're nervous
Oh,
about a
there
pick,
it
but
is.
the equalizers are insane.
Elk having to pop the ulti here at the very start, now flashing away to survive as Light goes in aggressively to take out the enemy AD carry. On's gonna get burned up next as Xiaohu pops the pop blossom defensively, and Ben's health bar's gonna drop next. The Shy leads the charge, and Shun heads right back into the base. Only he and Yagal still stand as Weibo pick up 3 for free.
Weibo are absolutely unleashed today, crushing through BLG, giving him no room to breathe at any turn. They're looking for more.
Weiwei with the flash engage, the knockup on Yagao, and the Shy gets him with the flame spitter to finish the job. Shun's back underneath those Nexus turrets. They still have the entire rest of the team dead, only On just now respawning as the bottom lane inhibitor turret is broken. The inhibitor now under pressure as the same story gets told mid. Weibo still have their push going strong. Xiaohu has rotated up into the top lane to get the last remaining lane moving towards that completely destructive state. They're not going to get it all the way there, but the rift belongs to Weibo.
Sorry, when I said they could set up for Dragon, I meant you take 2 inhibitors, you just absolutely rinse BLG, make it impossible for them to play the game. I mean, Weibo.
Just kill
put
him,
out a
man.
performance. Yeah, sorry, I can't believe it. I've been away from the LPL for too long.
See,
you know?
player, kill
Yeah,
player.
kill
there you
player, that's
go.
the problem.
What are you thinking? I mean, this equalizer is nuts from the Shy. He has been so good all game long. Every equalizer feels like it's perfectly placed. And then in goes Light and turns off Elk. Gets in, knocks him down, and they just pile in for more.
Insane stuff from Weibo. And I mean, the fact you're getting the Shy crushing Bin in that top side, you got
They left him hanging.
you got Light, who's completely fine on that bot side. It feels like for Weibo, you're in a great spot, and not going to find Bin yet.
Yeah, Ben's going to be in some trouble here. The Shy has backup from Crisp. The Maul's going to keep Ben alive for an extra second, but as soon as that Flame Spitter comes back up, Xiaohu makes his rotation over. The Shy popping the stasis just to make sure. It got a little bit dicey there for a second, but they still get the job done.
That is fair. He is 0-5 and the other side is 7-1, so that's why it was a little bit close, but they do get the job done. And now you're going to get pushed on top side to make sure you can actually get in underneath this tower. And I mean, how do you try and defend this as BLG? You've got nothing left in the tank.
You really can't. There's not much you can do here. I mean, the only reason it was really close is because they was all AP, but they're going to look for a pick.
Crisp is the target, and they already got him. It cost a lot of ultis to do it. So Weibo now might look for something, despite the fact that they've immediately lost a man. They go for the knockup, but it won't hit Shun. On still trying to play that interference role, allowing the rest of his team to fall back.
Yeah, the Shy is back now, though, and he's 16. The equalizer just about ready, it looks like. Maybe 10-15 seconds on that cooldown, and when that is up, if he places a good one, it's going to be lights out for BLG. So BLG are going to have to be respectful, have to be careful about it, as Weibo will just take away the jungle.
But even if you don't, right? Even if a Weibo just ping-pongs these wave backs and forwards forever, it's like 3 minutes until you get an Infernal Drake for this style of composition. It's absolutely insane. You're then going to have full control as well for like minute and a half with the Barons up. Like, you have this game in the palm of your hand as Weibo, and it's on BLG to find that moment, find that pick with Shun, with Yago, that can try and turn the tides here.
And the way this game is gone, I got so many questions for how the rest of the series is going to go now, too, because you're saying, okay, Aatrox into the Shy's Rumble has not been an answer. We try to ban the Jarvan, take the Vi. Okay, well, they'll just play Belveth and do perfectly fine with it. Weiwei was out-tempoing Shun like the entire game. It seems like Weibo have answers. We were watching the teams talk about coming into this game and how big the competition is here now that you're into the top 4, and Weibo have done their homework.
And I think when you look at like BLG, the fact that they set the record for like the best win record in the LPL for a split ever, people go, oh, they should be the consistent winners, but they forget the fight between these two in summer was incredibly close, going 2-1 in favor of BLG. Weibo have taken down teams like JDG. They are monsters, and they want to finish this.
TP is coming in as Shun tries to engage on Xiaohu. It immediately goes golden to get himself away. Flashing right back out of the scat of the week as now Weiwei is coming in from the side. A lot of damage back onto Shun, and he's going to die to Xiaohu. Light now free firing back onto On, who engages without support from the rest of the team. Weiwei is going to do the same, but Weiwei is fed, and BLG's dead. Ben can't get out. Light's gonna put him in the ground. Weiwei jumps in over the wall. Elk is the last man standing, but he's Zaya without an ulti. It's gonna be a hard job to get away from this when he tries to do it, but Weiwei's got a lot of damage resistance. Weibo Weibo get it done. Game number 1. It's a stomp here in the semifinals, and they're going to start this series off strong.